Hi guys, you could be forgiven for forgetting about the Northern Ireland Protocol and the Windsor Framework, as it was a done and dusted deal between the UK and the EU, with Rishi Sunak doing a lap of honour recently after its signing. However, the DUP are still stewing in their own juices over it. The leader Jeffrey Donaldson is himself in a bit of a pickle. If he rejects it, there could be serious consequences for the DUP as a whole, but if he accepts the new deal, it could split the party down the middle. Donaldson has been visiting the US trying to make the DUP's case against the protocol and the Windsor Framework. Here's Sam McBride from the Belfast Telegraph gave a quick rundown of the difficulty the DUP face.
If he comes back from here having been seen to have been lent upon, not just lent upon by anybody, but lent upon by a US administration, which quite unusually, Dan said there that the US administrations generally don't take firm political positions on quite contentious issues in Northern Ireland. They did with the protocol. They said they supported it. They said it should be implemented.
Wait a minute. Okay. Now, I know that Sam here is from the Belfast Telegraph, which is pro DUP, it seems. So he tends to, to regurgitate some talking points from the DUP. But the reason US administrations support the protocol is because it's there to protect the Good Friday Agreement. And we can look at administrations all the way back to the Clinton administration, and you can see how they continually supported peace in Northern Ireland, continued to support it, to support the Good Friday Agreement. Now, ironically, the DUP were against the Good Friday Agreement when it was first signed. They only agreed to support it only recently. So, this thing of, it's unusual for US administrations to get involved in delicate issues in Northern Ireland. They want the Good Friday Agreement protected. Brexit was a risk to the Good Friday Agreement. To protect it, you put in the Northern Ireland Protocol. That's why they're supporting the Northern Ireland Protocol, and they want it implemented because they know, like the UK government, like the Irish government, like the EU, they know that it protects the Good Friday Agreement. It has to be there. The only people who are against it are the DUP and the TUV.
And therefore, it's more difficult to accept that sort of criticism from those people. That will make DUP supporters more suspicious if they now move on that.
So what is the problem for the DUP? The DUP now coming back from the US, from Washington, hoping to get some support from maybe Republicans or some Democrats. I don't think they've received any support. Even Republicans in the US are either indifferent to Northern Ireland, or those who have some sort of Irish connection are like, no, we support the Good Friday Agreement. And if the protocol is there to protect the Good Friday Agreement, we'll support the protocol or the Windsor Framework or whatever. They will rely on the Irish government, basically. They'll say, look, whatever the Irish government say, we'll go ahead with that. We don't know the ins and outs. We trust the Irish government to relay to deal with our concerns and to relay their concerns to us, and to a certain extent the European Union as well. Now, the problem here for the DUP, of course, is that they've painted themselves into a corner. They said that they wouldn't get back into government. Their unofficial line, of course, was, we don't want to get into government with Sinn Féin if Sinn Féin have the top slot as First Minister. So they said, we want the protocol gone. Now, it was a very stupid move by the DUP because the UK government, even under Boris Johnson, had no intention of getting rid of the protocol. It was all just a bit of political theatre, talking about triggering Article 16 and tearing up international agreements and breaking international law in a limited and specific way. This was all theatre. I saw it as theatre. I don't understand how the DUP couldn't understand that. Are they that dumb? Do they understand politics less than I do? Really? I'm not an expert. I follow these things, but I'm not an expert. Surely the DUP could have understood it better than I did. And I knew this was political theatre. I knew that the chances of the Tories ripping up the protocol, which is there to protect the Good Friday Agreement and the single market, call a spade, but it's there principally to protect the Good Friday Agreement. They had no intention of tearing it up. Brexiteers could rant and rave all they wanted, but when it came to, as I said on a number of occasions, Brexit or the Union, Brexit won every time. When it came to protecting Northern Ireland, or the Unionists in Northern Ireland, or the Good Friday Agreement, the Good Friday Agreement won every time. There was no benefit for the UK government breaking this agreement. It would face hell from the United States. It would face hell from the EU. It would get a pretty cold shoulder from the Irish government too. So where is the advantage for the UK there? In order to keep, a party in Northern Ireland happy, the DUP, for about 5 minutes, and then they'd be complaining about something else. So for the DUP, if they come on board and say, actually, well, let's get into government, it's going to split their party, because they're the hardliners within the DUP who'll say, no, we don't want to be in government. We're not going to get into government if Sinn Féin are in charge. That's the sad reality. And unfortunately, I don't see the situation improving. I think what will probably happen is the DUP will refuse to accept the protocol or the Windsor Framework, and the UK government will continue regardless. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.